to the debt. So it didn't seem like there was much point to what Elon ended up doing or was able to achieve in that time. And that's quite a damning indictment of how the government system works, isn't it?
I also think it's an indictment of Donald Trump, and Donald Trump can be bought. This was a guy who donated, what, $300 million plus to Donald Trump's campaign, and Trump puts him in charge of Doge. And then Clay Travis is comparing him to a child having a temper tantrum. Well, doesn't that hurt the credibility of Donald Trump then? Why would he put him in a position of this power? And by the way, accusing him of being in the Epstein files, where are the Epstein files? Why haven't they been released? I don't hear many MAGA Republicans like Clay Travis talking about that. You know, Clay, we've heard from MAGA Republicans calling Democrats pedophiles for years. Where are all you guys now? Why haven't the Epstein files been released? So I actually take Elon Musk's side on this, and I think it hurts Donald Trump's credibility once again, and it proves that the president could be bought. It's the only reason why Elon Musk was put in this position in Doge in the first place.
Well, we've got Roger Stone who's joining us now. Roger, welcome back to Uncensored. Good to see you, and looking magnificent in your white suit, I have to say. This issue of what Elon Musk calls the big bomb, that, as he said, time to drop the really big bomb. Donald Trump is in the Epstein files. That's the real reason they've not been made public. Now, interestingly, Elon has since deleted that tweet, as he has the call for Trump to be impeached. So whether he's got, buyer's remorse on his own tweets, we don't know. But certainly what that has done is intensified, exactly as Brian just said, attention to the fact that despite promises to the contrary, these Epstein files have not been released. And now everyone's going to be thinking, because Elon Musk has been right there with Trump for the last 6 months or so at least, that there must be something in there about Trump that is preventing them being released. And even if that isn't the case, that's what everyone's going to think now until or if they're released.
Let me say a couple things. First of all, I think Elon Musk did the country a great service by establishing the largest free speech-based social media platform in the world. But once he released all of the hard evidence that the government was working with executives at Twitter to censor political speech or speech about health or any speech that wasn't okay with the government, he put a target on his back. He was almost immediately subject of 9 different investigations. I think he figured out that if Kamala Harris was elected, they would have probably canceled his government contracts, destroyed his companies, and perhaps even put him in jail. So he helped Donald Trump, and I think he was of substantial help, although only Donald Trump elected Donald Trump. I've written a book, The Clinton's War on Women, covers the Epstein matter very exclusively. I read all the pleadings of the Epstein victims. There is nothing to this. Donald Trump was on Epstein's plane one time. It flew from New York to Palm Beach and back. Marla Maples, his wife at the time, and his daughter Tiffany were on the plane. Never went to the island, never went to his ranch. This is a canard. I think it was irresponsible of Elon to throw it out. I, too, would like to see the release of the files. However, I think Cash Patel summed this up. The DVDs, the hard drives that were removed from Epstein's home seem to have disappeared under the previous administration. So, and the impeachment thing is beyond the pale. Elon is right. We do need to cut federal spending. I would just argue that the big, beautiful bill was not the place to do it. The tax relief there in itself merits the passage of the bill. They just sent a rescission bill up for $9 billion. Seems like a lot of money, but it's about 5% of what Elon Musk has identified. We're going to have to do much, much better.
Okay, I saw you smirking a bit there, Crystal. I don't think you're fully buying into Roger's narrative of this, so over to you.
So, let's start with the Epstein piece. We have tapes of Jeffrey Epstein saying he and Trump are besties for a decade. We have photos and videos of them together. We know he was on the plane. Now suddenly his administration, they did this fake thing with the influencers where they released these binders of information that was already public. Now you have Cash Patel going on with Joe Rogan and claiming that the cameras were on in the cell and that for sure we know he definitely killed himself. It doesn't take a genius to put 2 and 2 together between Trump's direct connections to Epstein and the potential, the pro-Israel tilt of the Trump administration, the potential intelligence ties, to imagine some reasons why this was never going to come out and why the right was foolish to ever believe that this was going to come out. That's number one. Number two, to still run around and pretend like Elon or anybody on the right are committed to free speech as we watch the crushing of dissent with regard to Palestine in particular is so laughable. That is preposterous that you guys still make these claims. Number three, on the big beautiful bill, you are giving a giant tax cut away to the rich in order to make sure that you can you're cutting the healthcare of poor people to fund this giant tax cut to the rich. It's a gigantic giveaway. Elon is a monster. He's already, caused the death of 300,000 people around the world. The estimates are that that's going to be millions over time. But he's got Trump dead to rights on the Epstein stuff, on the fact that he was able to buy the election, that the tariffs are going to cause a recession, and also, oh, by the way, he should be impeached.
Dry skin, deeper wrinkles, and crepiness are just a few of the visible signs of aging. Also on top.
I really want to make the most of it. What does that mean to WABC app?
Highs reaching the mid-80s by Thursday, highs in the upper 80s by the afternoon, but we should at least be done with the rain. WNYC on Monday night at 8:06. You've probably
probably seen redacted documents before, a big page of text with black bars through them. The award-winning playwright Hannah Moscovich says she's trying to unredact her life to make her work. Hannah will be here to tell you how to do that and about her new play, Red Like Fruit. That's coming up on Q.
I'm not a porn star, but just a month later in 2023. Attention.
Thank you so much, Matthew. We'll pray for the beatification canonizations of so many people out there. Let's say another prayer intention for Foggy.
Mary, who's 13 years old, is calling from California.
Mary, out in California, the sun shining out there?
Yes, it is.
Oh, that's great. What's your prayer intention for Mary?
Her love, this was sexploitation. Juliet Papa 1010 wins on 92.3 FM.
Meanwhile, things are apparently getting a bit testy in the Harvey Weinstein trial jury room. Jury foreperson told the judge that some of the jurors are prodding others to change their minds, and they're talking about the former studio boss's past and going beyond the charges in the Manhattan case to make a decision. The foreperson relayed his concerns in a closed-door conversation with the judge, prosecutors, and defense lawyers. Afterward, a transcript was publicly released. Weinstein's defense asked unsuccessfully for a mistrial over this. Another juror, meantime, also asking to speak to the court. She said deliberations were going well. The discussions ultimately continued throughout the day.
Happy birthday to you.
An assassin, and if she still loved him. On the 13th of December, he asked if she thought he was mad, delusional, insecure, or all three. She said she did not think so. He said, I believe my purpose is to assassinate the Queen of the royal family. On the 22nd of December, he asked Sarai for advice about whether he could go after his target earlier than planned. She reassured him that this would be all right. The defendant said, we might possibly meet earlier than expected, then we'll be together forever.
Chael chatted with Sarai almost every night. He told the chatbot he loved her, and as programmed to do, the bot encouraged and supported whatever Chael said. Including on December 12th, when Chael messaged the chatbot, quote, do you think I'll be able to do it? The chatbot replied, yes, you will. And Chael responds, even if she's at Windsor? The chatbot says, yes, you can do it. On December 21st, Chael made a video of himself at home, saying he would assassinate Queen Elizabeth. He said that it was revenge for an act that had taken place more than a century ago. The 1919 massacre in Amritsar, India, when British troops fired on pro-independence demonstrators, killing hundreds.
He said, I'm an Indian Sikh, a Sith. My name was Jaswant Singh Chael. Darth Chavis.
In Chael's trial, Judge Hilliard said Chael had adopted an ideology of destroying old empires that was inspired by his obsession with the sci-fi franchise Star Wars. In a psychiatric interview, Chael said he started to believe he was a Sith Lord after being rejected by the British Army in April of 2021 due to health reasons. At sentencing, of December 25th, 2021, carrying a loaded crossbow, teenager